Hey guys, Dissident Magic here, and it's kind of overdue to upload this deck. I believe I had introduced it or hinted on Twitter or something like that about it being a green-red deck. Well, it's mono-red now. Here it is. Uh, I just decided, it's worth dropping larger than life. There's almost an identical spell, and it made it like 6 or 7 or 10 or 20 times cheaper or something to just go monocolored. So I'm like, it's basically the same damn thing. So basically the premise behind the deck idea initially was one, turbo cheap, because I've been building, oh god, like what was the last one, $170 I think it was. That's up there for me. And two, I wanted it to play around red, white, blue, anticipate, glimmer, counterspell removal, which is the deck right now. I know there's like 6 different versions of it. Some people play Infinite Cats, some people play Torrential, some people play I've seen Oblivion Sower, that's a weird version. Some people play Dynavolt, some people drop a color and swap it, but no matter how you look at it, it's the same damn deck. It's draw, control, because Wizards doesn't know what the hell they're doing. So I wanted to both hit them extremely hard before their 3 colors are even established, also have the win on turn 4-5 capability, while also maintaining just a late game, just drop blitz, you have one chance and you're dead. Slip up once and you're dead, which is exactly how I described my SEAL Team 6 deck, as well as my Mr. Nibbles deck. And those decks are famous for winning quite a bit. So I thought I would build something like that in red, maybe with green mix. Turns out no. And it didn't really work. I know you probably didn't see that coming. So this is a perfect example of when a deck just falls apart. It doesn't have the card support. It isn't good enough. And in testing, it's just not as powerful as it sounded in your head. At that point, I would probably give up on it. But since the deck, it's not consistent enough, it doesn't win on turn 4 often enough, doesn't win on turn 5 often enough, but it does do what I designed it to do, and it's probably under $10. In fact, I don't think, there's no rare in here. Holy crap. Oh, okay, there's one rare, but honestly, it's Falkenrath Gorger, so we're probably looking at a 25x deck, which is what I call, the bare minimum rock bottom deck price. This is basically 25 cents times 38 cards. I feel like Falkenrath Gorger might be like 50 cents. I don't remember, but whatever. This deck, it does kind of work. It does what it does. It's just not as good as I thought, and I didn't have a particularly high winning record with it online. But, if it looks fun, if it looks like something you would play, go for it. Why not build it? Because it does work. It is scary, and people will fear you. So why not? So basically, we got 22 mountains. I was too lazy to check what that red spell land does. I don't know. Whatever. Throw it in if you want. Then we got Falkenrath Gorger. So that's a 2-1 for 1, and rest of it doesn't matter. Something about madness, vampires, who cares? Then we've got Borrowed Hostility, which is 1 escalate 3. You would almost never escalate it, but once in a while. I just call it the Nicolas Cage card because, come on, is that not totally him? Basically, +3/+0 till end of turn to 1 creature. If you wanted, you could grant it first strike instead. That does come up once in a while, believe it or not. And that's just sheer power for 1. I love it. Built to smash, +3/+3 until end of turn as an instant for 1. Hello, if it's an artifact, it's not even going to read the rest. Basically just survivability plus ambush is just huge, but you cannot use this card defensively. Speaking of that, Blossoming Defense was supposed to be in this deck. There was only 2 green cards, that and Larger Than Life. I thought, not worth it, but whatever. Then moving on to the 2 costs, we got Speedway Fanatic. Now that's a 2-1 for 2 with haste. Something about crewing, who cares, irrelevant. I'm only half using any of these cards, which is probably why this doesn't work. Like I said, the card support just isn't here. We needed like 1 more card to make this perfect. Maybe a natural double strike or something. It's like 1 or 2 cards maybe away from being absolutely just unbeatable. So that's a shame, but still, without them, it works. So a 2-1 for 2 with haste, and then you're looking at a 2-1 without haste for 1 in Falkenrath Gorger. You can still get it out 1 turn earlier, so in effect, they're the same card. Except that Falkenrath could get blown up while you're waiting to swing the next turn, which who cares? If they're going to blow them up, they're going to blow them up. Who cares? So that's basically 2 replicated creatures right there. Next up, we've got a much better version of them, Ember-Eye Wolf. He has haste. He's 1/2 for 2, and this is all about damage, so that doesn't seem great, but you can pump him an unlimited number of times. So you got your +2/+0 until end of turn. Let's say you have 6 lands out, which is not unreasonable. Boom, boom, boom. You got a 7/2. I mean, you could just drop him in, pump him, swing, done. You win. Just like that. I mean, if they have 7 life left, like I said, they slip up once and they are dead. If they fail to react or blow them up, there it is. Now, this one's a little transparent. It's like, oh, he's got land open. Oh, look, he can pump him, like whatever. But if they tapped all their mana out and you top deck this, we're talking literally nothing left on the field. They have destroyed your entire battlefield. You have no creatures left. You're just sitting looking at a pile of mountains. And it's like turn 30 because, hello, red, white, blue draw control. You could top deck this and just drop it in and win the game if they were stupid enough to spend all of their mana on like a torrential or something. The problem is they would block with the torrential because he doesn't have trample. That's why you almost would need one of the trample cards in your hand, but almost every single boost spell grants trample. So pretty nice. This is a pretty nice deck, I guess. I don't know. I don't like it because it wasn't as good as I thought. But it works. So next up, we've got Invigorated Rampage, +4 and trample until end of turn to 1 target. And get this, 2 target creatures get +2/+0 and trample. So you can either +4 to 1, or you could take 2 and split it. And then if they like Immolating Glare one of them, or, Fatal Push or whatever, you still get through, and then they both gain trample, and you can just choose one. It's not like you have to pay more, like Overload. I mean, this is the best spell in the deck by far. I mean, nothing even touches this. So obviously 4 copies of that. Next up, we've got a bit of an odd man out because, like I said, the card support just isn't there. A 2/1 for 2 with Menace without haste. Okay, so there's only 2 of these in the deck list, which, by the way, is in the description. Basically, he's like, oh, I swung with him, but they really want to stop him. Because 2 damage is 2 damage, like if they're really getting down there, and so they double block, boom, you boost him +4, maybe even give him trample, maybe do, maybe don't, maybe +3 him, whatever you want, and you just took out 2 of their creatures for 1 ambush boost card. That is brilliant. Plus, he works with the very last card, which obviously is Blood Mist. I'll get to that in a second, though. So next up, we've got Reckless Bushwhacker. Not my favorite. I just realized this card's like $1.50, I think, actually. It's an Oath of the Gatewatch uncommon, but it is worth quite a chunk of change. I had heard people play it in Modern, which is actually kind of surprising. So he costs 3, and he's a 2/1 with haste, but not really. I would almost never throw him out unless his Surge cost is paid. So Surge, of course, if you cast any other spell at all this turn, you can pay Surge cost instead. So if you cast a 1-cost spell, there you go. I mean, then you just got the Surge cost for free, effectively, because that's the difference. So if he enters the battlefield because his Surge cost was paid, all other creatures, not him though, get +1 attack and gain haste until end of turn. So there's your haste cover for stuff like Deranged Whelp. So as long as he's the last one to come in, which, hello, Surge, he would be, there you go. So this card just works. I can see why it's so expensive and why it's popular. So a lot of covering, a lot of, oh crap, this is missing trample. Oh, but this grants trample. Oh, this is missing boost, but oh, it boosts itself. There's a little bit of crossover and what if kind of scenario stuff in this deck. Next up, we've got Uncaged Fury. This is the one I'm not thrilled about. At least it's not a sorcery. I don't like that it costs 3. It would have been nicer if it cost 2 and they dropped the +1/+1 and just left the double strike part, but I mean, double strike for 2, come on. That would be like so broken. That would be like modern good. People would be throwing that on their Tarmogoyfs all day. So, target creature gains +1/+1 and double strike till end of turn. That is a finisher, but the problem is with it costing 3, even if you brought out the cheapest haster, which is 2 cost, you would have to have 3 more for this, and then 1 more for like Built to Smash. So to really pile on the damage, we're talking double digits, it would be kind of hard. It's kind of a lot of mana, and it requires to have more than 1 card in your hand. So Not my favorite, but I had to make a redundant card with Blood Mist because the math just didn't add up. Next up, we've got one copy of Bloodmad Vampire because I didn't need 23 mountains. That is literally the reason. Honestly, I probably should have just put in another Falkenrath Gorger. I just realized that. I just threw this in because it was fun. It's a good card. It almost made the initial cut, and then it was cut from the deck, and then I just returned one because I was like, I like it. Plus, it gives the illusion to your opponents that you have more of these in your deck. So they try to like sideboard against it and plan against it, and they're like, oh no, he's got another 3 costs. Now he's got 3 costs. Oh no, a Fatal Push isn't good, and then they go and sideboard it out for murder. Bad mistake. So anyway, whenever Bloodmad Vampire deals combat damage to a player, put a 1/1 counter on it. Hello, especially with like trample and built to smash and stuff. Oh my god, is this good. Plus madness too. I mean, whatever, if they try to make you discard it, I guess. The good part is it's a 4/1, so easy to blow up, but so is everything in this deck. It's all disposable, which the problem is there's only 18 creatures. So the creatures, yes, they all have like 1 toughness and are complete garbage, and very few of the spells actually save them. They're almost exclusively attack boost. It could use like 24 creatures, but then you wouldn't have enough boost to win the game. So the deck, like the whole deck idea just doesn't work, but whatever. Like I said, it does work. I mean, once in a while, it just doesn't work the way I thought it would. It's about 70% as good as I thought. So next up, we've got Blood Mist. This is the very last card in the deck. It's a 4-cost enchantment. There is almost no enchantment destruction in the game right now that anybody plays commonly, so you're free to leave this on the battlefield, and this was the whole backbone of the deck right here. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control gains double strike until end of turn. So every single combat. This is better than most siege cards. I mean, you guys remember the siege cards from like FRF or whatever? Oh my god, were those good. Oh my god, those cards were insane. I mean, like the white one, it like drops out a 2+1/+1 counters every single combat. Woo! So this is right up there with it. You might notice these are not legendary, so if you get out 2, you can actually grant 2 different creatures double strike, so keep that in mind. And this card is the reason why there's 22 lands, so that you can race to 4 in a reasonable amount of time. That's a pretty good cross-section with your probability of pulling this card. So a lot of math did go into this. It's just, it started to get very discouraging because it didn't work. But I keep saying the deck doesn't work. It does work, just it functions, everything flows, it's all balanced, everything works. It's not up to what I thought it would be. So I'm personally probably, I don't know, I probably will build it because it's like freaking like $12. I was gonna say I won't build it. I think we all know I will build it. I might bring it to F&M once just to piss off people, because when I was playing against the AI, I did win on turn 4 or 5 very often. I mean, you just need to start stacking up spells, especially on turn 5. You can really shred people because turn 4 Blood Mist, turn 5 double boost. That's it. You're looking at like 30 damage trample. I mean, so this deck, it's dangerous. It is like Dark Souls. Like if you slip up once, you're taking so much damage you probably won't recover. So there's really not much to this. I mean, I might upload some gameplay, but it's pretty damn obvious how this works. The order of everything is very important though, so keep that in mind. But I'll just play against the AI because 1, I hate X-Mage, the online is a joke, and 2, this deck either wins or doesn't. I'm not going to try to prove that it can beat a human. It can, just not as often as I thought. And it's really sensitive to creature removal. You might want to mulligan if you're holding like the ideal hand, like a 1/1 boost and then a 2 boost and a Blood Mist plus 3 lands, but no creatures. You might actually want to mulligan that because you really need creatures. You're probably going to need 3 or 4 to win the game because of the volume of removal. Also, you're going to lose quite a bit of them in your opponent's suicide blocking, but you're probably just going to trample past it. So you need to keep the creatures going. But the problem is if you start dropping some of the boosts, it doesn't work. And Blood Mist is the reason that it kind of doesn't work because, I mean, and then Uncaged Fury being the backup for Blood Mist, that's 8 cards wasted space in the deck. But without them, just, boost trample is not enough. It'll take you like way too many turns. So like I said, the concept just unfortunately doesn't work out mathematically, but the deck is fun. So I've contradicted myself like 50 times in this video, but I think you guys get it. The deck's good, it's just not good enough, but it is good enough to win FNM. Like you literally could easily go like 4-0, 5-0 with this deck. You would just have to be kind of lucky and very skilled and very shrewd about your mulligan decisions. So I figured, hey, for under 15 bucks, why not bring it to FNM? So why not make a video about it? So watch for the gameplay footage, and I'll see you guys next video. Oh, and the deck is called Relentless Red, because why not?